well. You know, it's very weird that you say mold specifically, because while it's not... I do have stories I could tell you about. They are about slime... Well, not specifically slime molds, but more so bacterium. If you'd like me to tell you about that instead. I don't think... Are slime molds bacterium or are they virus or fungi? I always get that mixed up. I feel like they're bacterium, but I have a thing... But I remember I had an argument with my friend, and I think it turned out that it was actually fungi. Either way, if you'd like me to tell you some stories about I have in the lab with bacterium specifically, you just let me know. Man. Well, I mean, yeah, I can tell you the story about... so basically, I go into the laboratory quite a lot. It's just what I have to do for my education. And do you know what E. coli is? I think its full name's like... No, I know it, but I can't pronounce it. Escherichia? No, I can't say it. Escherichia coli, maybe? But yeah. I'm sure you know what I'm on about. Why didn't I Uber? You know what, I save people, that's what matters. That wasn't bad Uber in my opinion. That was... made the best out of a bad situation. Well, it's not specifically green. Some of them do have green fluorescent protein genetically transferred into their bodies. I say bodies, into their cells. Which does give them the appearance of being green, but it's a type of bacterium. It is present, I believe, in our stomachs quite a lot, and intestines. Long story short, if it gets out of those areas, it can make you very ill. In the laboratory, we were working with E. coli because it's very easy to genetically mutate. No, gene edit, sorry, not mutate. You can, sorry man, I'm awful with my shots today, please forgive. But yeah, we were gene editing it. And this girl I was working with, well, it's not the most beautiful stories. It's quite weird. Essentially, she didn't quite understand anything really that was being said in the lab. There was a point where we were trying to be spreading these along an agar plate, and she didn't quite get that. And when I say get that, I mean she didn't quite understand that bacterium can infect and most likely make you very ill. So instead of, you know, doing it in front of a Bunsen burner where it can sort of kill any of the bacterium that gets out of that area, she decided to do it right up to her nose and face. So that was very horrifying, and considering that was right next to me, I was also like, oh my god, my safety, please stop doing that. But what really got me a bit fucked up is we had after a while we were transferring it into just a little glass tube, right? Oh yeah, let me put song requests on. But yeah, we had it in a glass tube eventually. And in that glass tube, obviously, it's like your buffer, your like, you know, everything that's needed, really, for the bacteria. Sorry, I just had to pause that once I was sorting out the song requests. And eventually, what ended up happening was the whole point with it is you're supposed to be using it to let them multiply and essentially see them grow, and hopefully have the ones which have your desired genes, which you've transformed into the bacterium, still present. Spoilers, mine didn't. That's not related to the story, mine just didn't work. But anyways, she grabs the vial, doesn't really get what she's doing, and decides to just tip it all out into the sink, but misses the sink. So she just tips out into my arm instead. And so I've just got like, I'm like, ah! Ah! You know, because I've got like a bunch of E. coli, ripping down my arm. I'm like, what the shit? Like, what am I gonna do? Like, I go to my like lecturer, like, well, not go to, I'm more screaming at him. I'm like, yo, what the f, sir, help, help! Like, and he's like, what hell? How did that even happen? And he was like, I don't know. My partner just dropped it down my hands. He was like, I didn't think anybody would be stupid enough to do this. Wash it, soap, loads of soap, just drench your arm in soap. So yeah, that was a little bit of an oopsie moment. I don't think she's a bad girl. She's just very thick. But that's not the worst bit, if you believe it or not. The worst part is, do you know what Ophidium bromide is? Hey, how you doing, Poison? I might just call you Magic now. How you doing, Magic? But yeah, have you ever heard of Ophidium bromide? If you haven't, it's a carcinogen. Essentially, that means that it is a, it causes cancer, essentially, if it touches you. It's very carcinogenic. So it's very bad. You don't want it anywhere near you without gloves or proper safety equipment near it. We were using it to create some sort of gel. It's a long story for people who don't really know what it is. I won't go too deep into it unless you really want me to. But she had like a huge tub of it in her hands, right? And first of all, you're not supposed to be picking it up because, like, oh my god, if that spills, that's going to be horrific. Like, you know, that needs to be properly, like, cleaned up. Ooh, nice shot. But then she, instead of, like, picking up and putting it down, she decides to pick it up and just run it for some reason across the entire laboratory. Towards where me and my teacher were, because I was trying to talk to him about something in, like, lecture. I forgot even what it was. But, yeah. And we're all just like, what? Huh? And my teacher was like, yo, stop moving. Yo, what? Help. You know, like that. But she gets up to where me and my teacher is. So I just want to make sure we got that. Nice job, Nico. Yeah, no, this girl's definitely trying to kill me. I know for it. I know for a fact. And by this point, she runs up to me and my teacher with the giant tub of Ophidium bromide. And we're all just like, oh my gosh. And she trips. She fumbles, she stumbles, and it looks like she's going over. So I literally, I'm just like, I'm scared. That's right. My teacher hides behind me. I'll run out of the way. Luckily, she didn't spill it, but I was like, I was so close to death. Like, that would have killed me, probably. Absolute madness. I have some other stories about the lab, if you want me to tell you. They're quite funny. Those are my university lab stories. But I can say some other ones, like, from when I was at school. Oopsie doopsie, so sorry. You'd like to hear another one? Alright. Well, this one comes from my old chemistry teacher. One of my old-ish chemistry teacher. During sixth form, I had this bloke, and he looked like the Domino Man, like, you know, from the Domino Pasta Sauce, so we called him Mr. Domino Man. And he was not the most normal of people. It was a bit of a shit teaching as well. If we were like, sir, I don't understand this, he'd be like, why don't you? Haven't you read the textbook? I was like, no, sir, because we don't have the money to afford the textbooks. Oh. Well, that's not my problem, is it? You should have that money. Like, what the f***, sir? You know. Anyways, and this is, most of the people at this point were just getting to the point where they were legally allowed to have, like, a proper job. So, yeah. Okay, teleport's down, that's good. But yeah, he was, in lab at one point. It's like, so you're supposed to have one of the pipettes, right? I'm all just like, okay. Why don't we? Well, the school can't afford any pipettes, so we're not going to be using them. For the record, if you don't know... No, you're good, medic, bro. Don't worry about it. Thank you for Ubering me as well. I really do appreciate it. We were just like, okay, well, well, yeah, why don't we have it? It doesn't matter if you don't have the pipette, because we have an alternate way to use it. We have an alternate way to get the acid out of the beaker and into the burette. He sounded a bit like that for the record. It's not a perfect impersonation, but it sounded a bit like that. For the record, a pipette is like a big ball thingy. You squeeze it and, like, say you're using water, the water will come up into whatever, into the pipette or something. That was a really nice shot right there. Run back, Poison. So he's like, oh, alright, well, we're using hydrochloric acid. That's a pretty strong acid. What are we going to do? You know, that's a very, very, very strong acid that if it were to, like, I don't know, touch us or something, we'd be quite ill. What possibly could we be using here? Your mouths! What? What? What do you mean our mouths? And he's like, yeah, just, so what we used to do in school is we'd, he's saying this in his story. It's like, back in my day, what we used to do is we used to grab the burette with our mouths and we just suck up the acid. And we were like, oh, surely there's safety regulations against this nowadays, right? Yeah, there's tons of them, but don't worry, like, you're safe with me. I was more safe with that man. So we were just like, oh my god, okay, thank you, I guess. So, but because there was literally nothing else to do, we kind of just had to do it, because he said, like, oh, yeah, well, you gotta do it, because if you don't, you fail the practical, and if you fail the practicals, you fail this class, because that's half of the class you haven't done. So we were kind of like low-key forced sucking up acid, and he was like, oh yeah, if it gets in your mouth, just spit it out as fast as you can. There was like one guy in my class, I know he fucking drank the acid accidentally. Luckily nothing happened to him, but yeah. For the record, he didn't get fired for this, in case you were wondering. He was not a very good teacher, as you can probably imagine. 4, I declare a farm war. I missed all those shots. Wow, that was bad. Oh, lovely. I'm getting better with my pipes as well. I should be relying more on my stickies, but yeah. You need this here, so it'll back up. Poison, go back. I want you to survive.
Ah! I know you.
But you know me?
What? Yeah.
Oh, dang.
Yeah, I know you. I've been in your cell before, bro.
Oh, sick. Cheers, bro. I'm sorry. I'm literally sleep deprived, so forgive me if I'm being an asshole today. Oh, gee, go Uber. Let's go! Oh, they have Uber as well. Okay, now we're not going as much as I thought we would be going.